We are going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth tonight. It's going to be spoilerific, lots of talk about remake and the original plot of the OG version. That's something that you're concerned with, please click away and then come back and check this out later once you're all caught up.
Sounds like a plan, Lieutenant Dan. All right. So yeah, we're gonna let some people trickle in. Anyone in the comments wants to put some stuff in there. Just trying to figure out. Okay, we are live on my end. Sorry, this is like my second time ever doing this. So anyway, we're talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Just our hopes, dreams, and fears. So. Yeah, we're almost 24 hours away from the release of Rebirth. I don't know, Mage, what are your thoughts? Like just generically overall.
I'm so excited. I've been asking Scarlet's Fire, is it February 29th yet?
Dreams and fears.
Since last fall. I'm so excited. I'm finally going to come out of the proverbial fantasy, I guess it'd be a wardrobe. I'm kind of a Final Fantasy VII fanboy. I love 4, and it's great. It's my favorite unpopular one, but I love 7 so much. I've said it's overrated before because I feel like there are certain aspects of the fandom that are too fervent. And get too excited. I recognize it does have its flaws, which I'm going to have to acquiesce some of them, and then make counterpoints with Block at Debatamania.
This is 100% true, and I'm for that one.
Debatamania is going to be great, but Rebirth, I feel like I'm really excited for. I'm hopeful for. I'm scared they can screw the pooch majorly, but at the same time, it's new. It's its own thing. And, any discrepancies or differences from the original product, I'm just going to kind of roll with.
Just on my end, and Mage, if you have anyone commenting on your end, let me know, and you can just read them out. But on my end, I have Daniel Vance on my end on Milk Toast. Saying,
nice.
So Mage will go from playing Final Fantasy on Steam to Final Fantasy on Steam ? I don't know what that means. I don't know what he means by that.
I'm not catching it either. I'm trying to.
It's okay. Well, Daniel Vance, explain yourself, young man. Yeah, no, I'm super excited, and I honestly feel like it's really fun because this game is going to be a stark difference from the last one. Because the first one was somewhat linear. I mean, you had a little bit of freedom to roam around, but mostly it was linear. It was kind of like. Honestly, it had a lot in common, I felt, with like 16. Like there was some freedom about it, but still, you were pretty much going from point A to point B, like in 16. I felt, in like 13, just not as linear. You know what I mean? And yeah, I feel this one's definitely going to be different. It is a open world, and I feel like this one's going to be more along the lines. I hope it's more along the lines of 12, where it's like. You kind of have some bigger open areas, but they're still segmented. Not like Final Fantasy 15, where it's like massively open and empty, is kind of one of my big fears, but I don't think so. Yeah. Daniel Vance says, every time I see Mage gaming Final Fantasy. So, on Final Fantasy on Steam. I play...
On stream.
He says...
On Steam? Oh, on Steam as well, yes.
I would say I Steam my Pixel remasters on Steam.
Yep, I do 9 a lot. Do a lot of 9. Disc 3, maybe. Got the Blue Narcissus. I'm all open world.
Gotcha.
Grand Dragon keeps kicking my ass.
That's okay. He's supposed to be kicking our ass. So, sorry, I'm checking things while we're going, just making sure that everything looks good. I wanted to jump over to MageORage's just to make sure everything looked good on his end. Also, like he's checking his own stuff, but ever the
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Like,
the host. Anyway, yeah, like I don't know. Okay, so I played the first and second demo. Have you played this? I know you played the first. Have you played the second demo?
I've not played either demo.
Oh, I thought you played the first one.
I was trying to go. I was been going like exposure free. I've been
Okay.
on a social media break all month.
Okay. Well, then I won't spoil anything from the demo. But all I can say from what I've seen is I'm liking what I see, because it seems like the story driven parts that they gave us in the first demo was very well done, and they kind of it was is a little bit more like Final Fantasy remake, but still felt a little open. And then the second one was kind of just like, here's this whole area and you go play. Like, so like they say here, you can play with some of the features that are in the game. I'm not going to spoil anything, like, but here are some of the features, here are some of the fights here, and it's just kind of like in this open area outside of a certain city with maybe a certain cannon. But I mean, spoiler alert, there's a game with a there's a city with a big cannon on it.
I saw that they did a Junon segment of the demo. I'm excited for it. I'm actually going to do the demo tomorrow because I noticed that they're doing rewards in final game for it. So
the only thing was you're from the first demo, your progress carries over because apparently it's the first like portion of the game.
Chapter, the memory sequence.
Yeah, and then the second part, I think there's, if you complete the demo, the second one, I think there's something you get, but I don't know what it is.
What I read on the official page was that there's no carryover from the second part of it,
not.
But if you just have a save file of the first one, period, you get a charm that gets you more crafting mats.
Ooh.
Oh, and just some consumables, some healing items. But more crafting mats? Come on, I'm a hoarder. I need that.
I know, right? Like how many in 16? How many what is it? Bloodskins or whatever they were called and magic ash did we have by the end of the
steel the steel thread?
Yeah.
The steel silk, I think. Yeah, no.
I don't know. There was we
Fair
had,
enough. Yeah.
Whatever it was, we had tons and tons of it.
If you needed gil, you could literally sell it for gil and never notice.
Mm-hmm. That's true. On my end, Daniel Vance says, Blitzball was the breaking point of my FF gaming. I had yet to return to the series. Open world sounds appealing. Dude, if Blitzball broke you, if you love open world, do 12. Like, 12 is the story's kind of meh, but the world of 12 is so, massively immersive. Like, it's just a sprawling open world. That's a good one.
What I played of 12 never felt empty, though. Like,
Yeah.
the areas, there was a point to them.
Mm-hmm.
There,
Each
you
area
never
had a
went.
point, yeah.
They're never like go down this path and it's just emptiness, just a dead end for nothing. And it's just like, why'd the devs waste their time putting this area in? Waste my time coming here.
Yeah, every game has that. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Like that, I did, I've been playing a lot of 12 in my Final Fantasy Fantasia. So, I mean, I'm revisiting that. Yeah, no, the world of Final Fantasy 12 is so well crafted. And that's what I hope they have for this. Is, as I said, I hope that the world is, as I said, it doesn't need to be super open like 15. I'm sorry, like that is just so empty and boring most times. And I get it. It's kind of what they were going for, is just like immense. But there comes a point where it's like, yeah, but you lose that quality, or you lose that quality, for that quantity. And that's why I like 12, because a lot of the areas are segmented. But as you said, there's still a purpose for each one.
When you make a player travel too far between point of interest A and point of interest B, I feel like it's a little disrespectful of our time. and the time is probably the most precious resource on the planet, and most gamers have so little of it, and if they're choosing to invest their time into your game, I feel like they should be respectful of your time at this point.
I mean, they really should be. I mean, and that's what I feel like. I feel like yes, I feel like Square Enix did have a couple rough goes. 13 was kind of rough. 15 was kind of rough. But I really feel like I honestly feel like with 16. I mean, yes, the game had issues, but I feel like they really kind of reined in the balance in a Final Fantasy, because no matter what you think about the combat system, the world I felt was very well balanced. As I said,
Yes.
there were even for a wide open, like, you didn't really have very many transitions, throughout the world. You didn't have what's the word I'm looking, not transitions, the borders from zone to zone. I don't know why am I...
Right, yeah, I mean, you basically, if it's a zone you can basically travel from one side of the realm to the other, with minimal load screens, and it doesn't, but the areas still are compact, meaningful content in them, something during the game more and more of them unlocks, so there's reward to coming back and re-exploring areas.
Yep.
I felt like you said it well. There's a good balance there in 16, and I feel like, but at the same time, I wished it was a little less like predefined tight areas and more like I could just run to more of the stuff I could see. And that's one of the issues I have with 14 as an MMO.
Oh, really? Okay.
I come from WoW, and if I can see it, I can fly to it.
Okay. I mean, I've never played WoW, so I mean, I know obviously what WoW is, but I mean,
and in every other, really quantifiable way, 14's a superior MMO.
You heard it there first, folks. The WoW and 14 player says that 14 is superior.
Yep, I still prefer my old crappy WoW. I'm probably a boomer inside, I think.
That's okay. We all have our boomer moments. Okay, so talking about Rebirth, what is your most anticipated place to visit? Like, what is the most anticipated place to see? Like, Shinra Mansion, Rocket Town, Wutai, I don't want to spoil where it ends, because it kind of has been spoiled.
Forgotten City.
Okay, so I didn't want to spoil
I know it
for
ends
you.
at the Forgotten City, so I know that we'll have an answer to the question. By the end of the experience, we'll have an answer to the question.
That actually brings up my next question, but go ahead and answer the current one. Like, what place are you looking to like, what place do you want to visit the most and see that, like, what they've done with the place? Like, even if it's like expanding, like, because obviously Calm's been expanded, from what I've seen in the trailers. So, what's your thoughts?
Coral and the Gold Saucer, I feel like, because it's the other place in the world of Final Fantasy VII where the haves and have-nots are very much highlighted, and that there's a very stark dichotomy, almost more so than Midgar. You kind of see, like, it's really telegraphed how big the difference is. And it's literally, this place up high is golden and shiny and is just nothing but amusement and play. But down here at the base at South Coral, things are crap.
Yeah.
And miserable. So I feel like the remake has done such a good job of just making all the experiences and original kind of like content of 7 more visceral. It elicits a much stronger emotional response to me with these kind of updated visuals. Like, it's just, when everything is very clear what it's communicating, the emotional impact is greater. And just these moments in remake hit different than than the full motion video of the past. It's like, as a teenager, I knew the Sector 7 plate fell, and it was, I knew it was a terrible tragedy, but when you can see it in a way that is way more realistic and elicits, real imagery to your brain, just the destruction, it's much more visceral and elicits much more of an emotional response. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to be able to do with such a much wider array of content to cover in this installment.
I agree with you. I mean, one of the most pivotal moments that I knew that we had something special in Remake was after the Sector 7 plate fell, and the scenes between Barrett and Tifa and Cloud, and those scenes right there are the scenes that made that game for me. And so even, I mean, Barrett's the MVP of the remake. Let's be real.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, for real. Like, as a character that I didn't really care that much about, growing up and with the game, and playing, the remake made me really care about him, because you could feel the connection that he had with Marlene, and the connection that he had with Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse, and even the expanded content in Remake with Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse. I loved it. I loved getting to spend more time with those characters, because I always felt in the original they were kind of like, okay, they're dead, yay. It's kind of like in Final Fantasy II, spoiler alert, you get a couple characters that die, and you just almost, I don't want to say you don't care, but you're like, you did one dungeon with them.
There wasn't much of a build up.
Yeah.
There's no established relationship there.
Yeah.
Remake had so much more content to be able to work with and build them up as actual people and full developed characters. It did a great job in that regard, and it crossed a line beyond filler to a good expansion of the original property.
I could probably count on one hand how many times I was like, oh, that's filler. And I mean, a game that's like Final Fantasy VII Remake, that is taking literally like 1/8 of the first of the game, maybe even less than that, like, and turning it into a whole game. Like, you figured there'd be filler all over the place, but it did not feel. I could literally count on one hand how many times I was like, yeah, that's kind of. I'm glad I did it, but that's kind of filler. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Costa del Sol and Cosmos Canyon. Costa del Sol, because I've always been interested just to see, like, I want to see more there. It's like Wall Market. In the remake, I wanted to see Wall Market, and because it was like 3 zones technically, if you don't count Corneo's mansion. Like, it's the upper, the lower, and then the Honeybee Inn on the side. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of
Costa del Sol is all of one screen,
and in the beach and the dock.
Beach, yeah.
But I mean, those are
3.
Well, yeah, but it's still kind of.
But the town proper is all one screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you got the beach, the dock, which are not inconsequential, but like they're just little slivers of a screen, and then But then you're right, the whole town, or the whole town is one screen. I really want to see that Costa del Sol expanded, and honestly,
you really want to see Cloud on a Segway.
No, I want to see Tifa in that bikini more.
I haven't seen those images yet. I've seen enough of. I've checked my Twitter inbox a lot, like every day, but I saw one post, well-read Mage ad. He was just like asking people for stuff to retweet and boost. He's like, my feed is nothing but thirsty Final Fantasy VII posts. Has it been rough?
All I will say is that you will not be disappointed, my friend. It is for me, it is tasteful, because you know me, I'm not like, hey, more skin the better. It is tasteful, but yet very, very appealing. So yeah, I think it is a very tasteful thing they did. Actually, I think people are mad about it because it's not like super skimpy, and it's like, no, I don't think it needs to be. That's a
This is not extreme beach volleyball.
right. Although I mean, what they did to Scarlet and the game. I mean,
I mean, you saw what Beardy Beers typed.
yeah, right. I know. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, and I mean, she's a bad guy, so you can always do that with bad guys because they're supposed to be like,
Over the top
risque,
and
over the
yeah.
top. Yeah.
Oh yes, and that the whole sexuality is evil Western mentality.
Yes. So, yeah, but that's I mean, but I kind of expected that with Scarlet. But yeah, I mean, okay. So beyond that, and as I said, just you won't be disappointed. I don't think. But beyond that, like, I also want to see, how they handle like the outfits. Remember, like on the boat with the outfits.
Oh yes, Marshmallow Barrett.
Marshmallow Barrett. There
Stay
was
puffed.
yeah, there was a scene in a trailer where you could see him, and I only saw it once, and I haven't gone back to it because I kind of want to be surprised. I didn't even catch it the first time. And then Red 13, yeah, in the Shinra outfit, like how
That's gonna be great. I've seen Red on a chocobo.
I've seen that one. I have not seen him in the Shinra outfit yet.
I've not either. I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be great.
But I mean, they make it seem like he can at least make himself somewhat look human. You know what I mean? Like I think with the chocobo thing, I think they've done a good job making it look like it's a dog riding a chocobo. Okay, like I don't know, but and then what did I say? Cosmos Canyon. I think Cosmos Canyon is a really interesting area that had a lot of zones, but I think suffered from the format it was in. I really feel like there could have been a lot of interesting visuals there, especially in the caverns below. Spoiler alert for Final Fantasy VII, the original. The visuals of the caves below and Bugenhagen and all those. Like I just feel like
planetarium scene.
Like I really just feel like that game suffered for that area suffered because of the limitations of the time. So I really can't wait to see the visuals of a lot of that. I almost said Shinra Mansion instead, but I'm like, no, we've kind of seen that modernized in Crisis Core, in Dirge of Cerberus, and so honest and truly, it's like, and even I think, well, in the flashback, I think we're going to be in there too. So, it's like we've seen the Shinra Mansion so many times at this point. It's like, whatevs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying. That you can wear something out.
Well, it's not shocking anymore. We've seen the 3D render of Shinra Mansion and and stuff like that. So, yeah. I don't know, but I do like yours though. The gold saucer, of course, but I felt like 14 kind of ruined.
Did it? Yeah, I'm seeing. I'm wanting to see what it's done properly, like what it'll be like when it's done right.
Listen, if I'm not jumping in a shoot tube, I don't want it.
Exactly. Oh my lord, I can't wait to play Mog House. It's the only mini game I like, that and the bike mini game, and they're both in Gold Saucer. Well, I don't know, the robot punching, basically the digital Rock'em Sock'em robot's fun.
And I mean, that's what I've heard about this game, is that they've really this game is mini game heavy. So I'm kind of excited. I like mini games. Like I'm sorry, like Chocobo Hot and Cold, not Tetramaster. Triple Triad.
The 8 one.
Yeah, Triple Triad. Like, I love mini games, and honestly, like I've always championed for a mini game, like a Final Fantasy mini game. Like, no story, no nothing. You literally get plopped into a gold saucer, like, or whatever you want to call it, Omni saucer. I don't know. And you just start. They're just games everywhere. Like, you could add some kind of element of, okay, you can unlock this section once you've done this, or I don't know, maybe add some kind of stupid little progression thing to it, maybe, or you can just do play all mode and just be able to play whatever you want whenever you want, I don't know, but I've always wanted that, and I feel like this game, for how many mini games this game is going to have, I've heard, I feel like this is going to be as close as we're ever going to get to a mini game. Like there are going to be so many.
Okay.
There's even a card game, I think, in this one. Yeah, I think there's some kind of card game in this one.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
confirmed, but I think I heard that. Did you play Fort Condor in the intermission?
I liked Fort
I
Condor in
did.
intermission. I finally got it. I finally get Fort Condor, and it's really like it's deceptively deep. It's really simple and easy to pick up, but difficult to master.
Yeah, I kind of hope that makes a return in this game too. I really enjoyed it in intermission. I honestly only had a chance to play it a couple times because I thought,
I
oh, okay,
mean,
I'll be able to play it later. And then once I got to the Shinra building, it was like, no, that it's a
it's
beeline to the end of the
literally
game.
yeah, and nice little balance in such a short DLC of having kind of open run around freeform content and then a strict cinematic linear experience, which I'm looking forward to more of the freeform, and in that you're saying we looks like we're getting in Rebirth. Like I'm hopeful that they pull that off right.
Me too. Um, were you gonna say something? Sorry.
The you can go to Fort Condor originally, in seven in the area between Midgar and Calm. Is that not going to be an area we're
No,
able to explore?
it's after the Mithril Mines, between Mithril Mines
It
and
is
Junon.
Athril the Mithril Mine and Junon. So yes, it is in content that we're going to get in this segment of the game. So yeah, we should be able to just go to the actual Fort Condor and engage in the actual game
I mean,
or
I wonder.
activity.
I'd say I wonder
Or
what
do
they're
you?
gonna do with
Yeah,
that.
but then because you can do it over and over again originally, but then eventually on disc 2 it actually matters when you're defending the huge materia.
Yeah, there's actually a story element. I don't think will we? I don't think we will get to that point in
Nope,
this.
the
Yeah,
huge materia won't play a
play
part
part until
yet.
part three. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, what's your favorite? If you're okay to move on,
Yeah,
what's your favorite character you can't wait to play as? Even if it's a one that you've already. Well, I don't want to say even like out of the three new ones that we're gonna get in this one or five, three.
we can control red this time, right?
Yeah, right out the gate we can control red.
I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward the footage I've seen of Kate Seath looks like they're fun to play, and I'm hoping that they'll make me actually like the character, especially like knowing what I know about the character. Yeah, because I couldn't stand them
I just
originally
hope they add
as
some
a
depth to
team.
it because honestly, the whole Kate Sith and like the traitor thing, like like somehow he has some connection to Reeve and everything like that. Like I missed all of that in my original. Like somebody had to explain that to me later on down the line. Like oh yeah, apparently Reeve and Kate Sith are like connected somehow, and
It's a robot. Reeve is controlling.
yeah, but how? Like in
It's a
Dirge.
remote.
Well, in Dirge of Cerberus, they're standing side by side, and like there's scenes of them side by side, and he's not unless he's doing it with his mind, which could be. You never know with magic.
The level of tech they have now in remake universe, actually that would track.
Eh.
They've got really big holograms and stuff like that, and
And as I said, they could, but no, in Dirge of Cerberus, and as I said, I'm not. I kind of hope they decanonize Dirge of Cerberus, not because I didn't like the game. I actually like Dirge of Cerberus, but now that they're like the remake project, like 1, 2, and 3, I feel like is doing a is able to kind of condense everything. Like in the intermission DLC that you did, Deep Ground, that was not even mentioned until what Dirge of Cerberus in the original Final Fantasy lore. I don't think there was any mention of Deep Ground in the original
it's
content.
not in the original game. No,
So now that we've got basis for like Deep Ground in Final Fantasy VII Remake, like the Remake Project. When I say Remake Project, I mean parts 1, 2, and 3, like the whole thing. I kind of hope they condense that a little bit and actually just incorporate it into the Remake Project. You know what I mean?
If you made just 3 core games that people could come to and get the entirety of the 7 universe plot, that would be really good for marketability and just for, you could sell a lot of merch if you made it a lot easier for people to get
When I think
the complete picture, because I've not played Dirge of Cerberus or Crisis Core.
oh yeah, you've never played Crisis Core? Oh man.
Never played Crisis Core, yeah. So I'm going to play it after this because I won't be spoiling who Zach is to Scarlet at that point, hopefully.
Well, I mean, it's just with everything that's going on, they kind of bank on the fact that you know who Zach is, you know who that Crisis Core storyline. And I mean, they have almost kind of thrown Crisis Core out the window at this point because let's dive into the Zach Fair of it all. What I have no idea about Zach Fair other than what you've seen and what I've seen in the remake and intermission. Like, he's alive apparently, which makes no sense. If this
Things have changed.
Yeah, and that's that.
So all bets are off as far as what's going to happen.
But I'm not exactly fond of that. Like, I feel like it takes away from not only Zach's sacrifice but Aerith's sacrifice as well. You know what I mean? Like, because the Aerith sacrifice was like, okay, so Aerith and Zach are together, and I've always been like, Zach and Aerith, Tifa and Cloud, like that's the ship right there. Like that's who I've always had. And I think that at the end of Advent, you've seen Advent Children, right?
I have, yes.
So at the end of Advent Children, like I almost cried when I was watching like Aerith walk out of the church and like Zach's just waiting there waiting there outside the door, and then Aerith's walking towards Zach. It's like, and then Cloud is in there with like the group and Tifa and everything like that. Like that is the perfect, point of those relationships. You know what I mean? Zach and Aerith are together. Tifa and Cloud are together, and it just makes sense. And now with Zach being alive, I feel like they're doing it because Zach's a popular character. You know what I mean? Like for me, it almost feels shoehorned. Like, hey, this character's popular. We should probably keep him alive somehow. And it's just like, no, bad marketing. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean, I might be totally wrong. I might be eating crow after we play Rebirth, and as Zach kind of gets more involved in the story, maybe I'll be wrong.
Not knowing much other than the context presented to me in the original game, knowing that, I can see your concerns, and I can see you feeling like it maybe even, cheapens the character and lessens the character, what they've done with them previously, but it's a good way to make... I'm having a hard time with this one because of my lack of knowledge. Honestly, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When you negate a sacrifice type situation like that in any canon, you're gonna cause some problems, with tone and theme. But I feel like the making things more freeform and having it not stuck having to follow the established order of events will let it be its own thing more, and hopefully make people more forgiving of the other differences. It's, to me, it's become an apples and kumquats kind of comparison, like the original and the remake universe stuff.
See,
and it's the same as the original comic sources and MCU flicks, for instance. they're their own things, telling their own versions of these events. Uh, because it's not like the comics haven't contradicted themselves over and over and
Never.
reinvented it over and
Never.
over. Never. No.
Never. No. Looking at you, New 52. Never. Yeah, I just, for me, it's as I said, I felt like that part of the story was told really well. And honestly, the end of Advent Children was a really good conclusion to that story. But, going back to circling back to my original point about Dirge of Cerberus, I kind of hope they incorporate, and as I said, you haven't played it, I'm not going to spoil anything, but, Deep Ground, which is what you saw in Intermission, like as they got further and further down into the Shinra building, that's essentially Deep Ground. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
characters and stuff in there that were from Dirge of Cerberus, and I feel like they adopted a lot of that because those characters were very popular. Like the game itself was not very popular, but a lot of those characters were like, oh, these guys are cool. So it's honestly it's kind of the same thing with Zack. It's like these characters are cool. Let's incorporate them into this version. You know what I mean? So, but I kind of do hope we get like a thing where like Vincent maybe goes, either Vincent or the whole party goes after Deep Ground earlier than in the original established canon, just because I think that would help not pad out, but like I think that would be a good, because when you do the Midgar raid in the original, perfect place for you to do a whole Deep Ground section when you go back into Midgar.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just would make sense. You're there. You're I know you're looking for Hojo, but like I mean, and he's on the gun, but it's like I don't know. Maybe the party's split up, and one party's heading towards Hojo, like Red 13, and like you got like this split party, and then you got like this other party that's going into Deep Ground to stop something else. You could kind of have
That
this.
would be good. I'm a proponent of like making a 3 product encapsulation of that world. Like there's too many different pieces
Mhm.
of the stories flung across too many different platforms. I love the world, but I will honestly never have a chance to make myself go and like the Crisis Core remaster is a big help. Like, but still, like, am I gonna go buy a PSP and play Dirge of Cerberus at
You
this
don't need a P.
point?
No, well, it was on PS2, but I
Oh,
mean,
it's a PS2
yeah, it
game?
was a PS2 game. Yep. So you have a
Okay, well
Yeah,
that's not as hard, but still it's either doing some emulation or going and getting some original hardware that I don't have in the house right now to experience a piece of that world story
yeah,
when they could come up with a nice tight 3 product
hmm,
encapsulation that's all playable on modern hardware.
I agree. Um,
You could sell some hella merch.
hmm.
A bunch of. You know how many of those Tifa on the Buster Sword statues they could sell?
Tifa
Like
on
the
the
equivalent.
Buster Sword. What do you mean?
You've not seen that statue?
Mm-mm. Nope.
It's the opposite of the tastefulness you were talking about earlier with the bikini.
Oh, so it's untasteful in her on the
It's
Buster Sword.
untasteful and lewd and great.
Okay. I mean, look, I'm not going to shame anyone for
I,
liking what they
I'll
like.
link. I'll link you later.
It's not even.
I'll link it to you.
I say it's not even a real person, so you can't like. It's not even like you can sit there and say
No.
anything about the person. You know what I mean? Like the character.
Well, lewd's not maybe the. It's very suggestive. It's great.
Yeah.
It's funny,
Okay.
but
I love me some Tifa. Okay. So what else did I want to talk about? Do you have anything you want to talk about?
um.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I got one though. When you're done.
Well, I figured we'd end it with like the guess about the event
Oh,
and if it's gonna go down the way it's supposed to go down, or if they're gonna pull the difference shenanigans.
I
Are they
I've
gonna like? Are they gonna leave both alive? Or are they gonna flip flop it?
I've got.
Will you
Uh,
burn down your house if they flip flop it?
oh,
Just
I
like
might.
flip the console off, just like start breaking everything.
Um, yeah. Well, we can talk about that. Yeah. I my theory, and if I'm wrong, I'm fine with it. My theory is that whoever, I think they're going to change Holy. Like I think they're going to change the fact that Holy, like Aerith had to die to cast Holy, at the end of the game or whatever. I think they're going to I think they're going to change it to more of a someone has to sacrifice themselves for Holy to work. And I think it would be very ballsy, but what they're going to do is whoever you take on the date is going to die at the Forbidden City. Why do I always forget it? The Forgotten City?
The Forgotten Capital.
Forgotten Capital. I always forget the name of that. But yeah. So it's odd, and if it doesn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised. But I thought
No, it'd be great. It's whoever you like the most, apparently, and whatever is the biggest impact to the player.
and it's more of like a Soul Stone instance rather than just like, oh, Aerith had to die because it was better for her to cast Holy in the life stream or whatever. I'm like, nah, that's kind of. I've never liked that excuse. I've always been like, why? Like, you have Holy. Why? Like, and nobody had Holy at that point, didn't it? It fell in the water, so it's like she can cast it in the like. I don't know. It never really. It just bothered
It didn't
me.
explain itself very well at all.
And
The whole original plot in its entirety did not explain itself very well at all. But
I agree
God,
with
I
you
love it
100%.
anyways. I love the damn game anyways. I can't wait for Block to say the plot makes no damn sense. And I'll be like, hell yeah, it doesn't make sense. Who needs it to?
Don't give him any ammunition if he watches this. Yeah, no, but that's kind of my thought is like, I think that would be a very ballsy move. Like if I go on the date with Tifa and then, as I said, rather than like, and let's say Aerith is like completely willing to sacrifice herself for the holy material. It's kind of like, but it's kind of like the whole Hawkeye and Black Widow thing in Infinity War, or I'm sorry, in Endgame, where they're fighting to basically sacrifice himself. Like, but what it happens is that whoever you take on the date is the one that initially gets taken down. Because keep in mind, in the remake, Barrett already got kind of stabbed. Like I don't know if he was dead, but because I think they healed like
The Whispers healed him.
Yeah. So they're not. I mean, I don't. I think we might
But
be
at the
looking
at the end of Remake, they defeated that clump of Whispers and that one really big Whisper, and Aerith's all like, things are different. So might not be able to count on any more Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, I don't like the.
I didn't
the
like all
Whispers.
the Deus Ex Machina at all.
And speaking of, guess who just jumped in the chat? Nerdiverse Block.
Nerdiverse showed up.
It says, so, welcome to the stream, Nerdiverse and the Block. Your opponent. We are talking about something very important to your opponent right now, for a Debate-a-mania. Any idea? Like, what about new materia? Like, you think there'll be any new materia? I'm sure there will be new materia, but anything in
Hopefully
particular?
some more fun stuff to like aid with the ATB bar. If they kept that mechanic. Okay, then we need something, maybe just we need more different modifiers to the ATB bar to help build it quicker or start with more of it. Just stuff like that.
I'm very glad they added. I'm really glad they added wind in remake. So that's. I mean, like I maybe make earth. Do we have an earth materia in the game? Like I would love to have earth to be a little bit more practical.
Yeah, you should. You're supposed to be able to buy earth in Calm.
I know. Yeah, I know in the
Originally, that's where you get-
originally, but
So hopefully they'll have earth.
yeah. But I love the inclusion of wind. I don't know, like what about water? I know it's kind of ice and water, but like, are you wanting to like them to run the gamut of elements like now, like that we're kind of out of Midgar, or do you want them to kind of stick to like the basic 3 or 4?
I would like to see all of the element types that were there originally, so we could stop having such a predictable, oh, it's an animal type monster, use ice. Oh, it's a human type monster, use fire.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a machine type monster, use lightning. It was literally a rock, paper, scissors system that you could predict. Like, I figured out the patterns. It's like, oh, okay, I'll just stop assessing everything. Stop wasting my first ATB bar. And just, the game got much easier.
All right, I got a question from Daniel Vance. He says, what's a storyline from the series you hope to see them return to and provide more lore? I want to know more about Fort Condor. I do. I want to know what, like, I know they gave us a little bit of lore on that, but I kind of want to know more about Fort Condor.
I want to know more about the planetology movement.
Yes.
It is a religion. Like, I want to know, like, because there's more than just Barrett for Avalanche now. So there's going to be more than just Bugenhagen for planetology, hopefully. I'd like to see that be more like a
I want Cosmos Canyon to be busier. I want Cosmos Canyon.
Yes, man. Be more like Esto Gaza.
Yeah, I want that to be busier. Because in the original, like, you had, what, shopkeepers and, like, that's it. Like, there weren't many people.
There like 3-4 people.
Yeah.
There maybe.
I don't want it to be like a cesspool of humanity either. Do you think, I can't remember, in the original, did Red 13 say he was the last of his race, or did he just say that they were rare? I can't remember.
I think he said he was the last.
Was he? Okay. But yet he still had kids.
But it's been forever since I got that far. So there had to be obviously one more.
Yeah, because he had kids, unless they reproduce asexually, which, whatever. I mean, whatever. But I think it would be nice to see more of Red's race. Like, maybe, like, out in that way. Like, if there is any. I said, they can still be rare. Like, they can still be like a you know, a rare race or whatever. You know, maybe they were thinned out by the Nanaki, I think is what they were called. The ones that attacked Cosmos Canyon when he fought his... Nanaki was Red's name. What was Red's race have a name? I don't know.
I don't think so. Like, they don't really say much about him. Like, he calls Bugenhagen grandpa, and Bugenhagen's a dude, like a human dude.
Yeah, well,
but,
we know his dad was...
Emperor Gestal's a dog, so...
Wait, what? Emperor Gest
from 6?
He's a dog?
Yeah. No, but I always thought he was as a kid, because he looks like one.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Dragon Ball president, you know? Like, he's with the big beard.
Exactly. That's what I thought it was like. I'm just like, okay, well... You know, you've got wolf dudes that talk, and it's 6 is very Dragon Ball.
I agree.
I mean, complete with characters that are rife with no development. You forget about them.
Yes, nice burn on 6. You go, boy, man. You got to save these big guns for Debatamania. But
I'm like testing them out. It's like I'm working the moves. It's a workshop match.
Yeah, it's the dark match, or the pre-dark match. Okay, so for me, I agree with you, actually. The more I think about it, I mean, I was kind of hoping to see more of Deep Ground, but the more we talk about Cosmos Canyon, the more I'm kind of like, I kind of want to see more of what that whole area and region. Like, I want to see, like, as I said, if Red's race is around, and, like, as I said, let's just say they're more rare than humans, obviously, but I really feel like there should be more of them. If he had kids, there had to have been at least one more somewhere. So, and I just think this is a really good opportunity to kind of showcase that. So yeah, I'm really excited for Cosmos Canyon. Nerdiverse says, can they make Kate Sith useful? It looks like they are. I feel other than being a damaged sponge, never used him. Yeah, he was. I mean, he had some pretty good magic stats, right? Was he magic heavy?
I think he was magic heavy off for a base. He was useless. Nerdverse has a point there. Hopefully they'll make him more useful. He looks like he's going to be fun to play. Like, he's the one I'm most excited to test out.
Yeah.
So Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't want to say. I don't. It's kind of a spoiler, but not really. But it's about the combat with Kate Sith that I've seen. So, but I don't want to spoil it unless you don't. It's not a big spoiler. I just don't want to
I'm gonna play the demo tomorrow, so
I don't think.
I know he's not there yet.
Yeah,
but
he's not there.
Yeah,
yet.
you can. I'm over. It's so close now that I'm
Okay,
like my
like basically
spoiler
just
thing's over.
he doesn't ride around on the Moogle all the time, like the big white
Mm-hmm.
Moogle. You know, he kind of has to summon it. You know what I mean? So it's not his combat's not just running around on running around on a mechanical Moogle like bashing things. Like
So he can be a little quicker. He's not going to be as
yeah,
cumbersome type.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that's really, as I said, I'm trying to avoid spoiling anything for you. I know you've done a really good job at keeping any spoilers at all. So that's why I'm not trying to spoil anything for you. Um, Nerdiverse
Can't
also.
turn.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say you can't turn on the PlayStation without like getting the latest of the recreation images. I've loved them though. It's just like, aren't they all like images from in the instruction manual?
I have no idea. I don't know. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I think they're all vistas that we saw in the instruction manual of the original version.
Mm. Nerdiverse also says one of the last of his race. Didn't they face a boss that you could one hit with a phoenix down? Yes, that was
Indeed.
the spirits of whatever. But here's the thing: I thought that boss killed his race, and that's a good point. Like maybe that
That was my
tribe.
understanding.
Okay, so but let's say that happens. Let's say during this game, or maybe even the third game. I think it'd probably be better in the third game. He finds like a black mage village, like just some kind of secluded village of his own people. It's like small, like there's not a ton of them, but like maybe off on some island on like the Wutai Island. Because let's be real, the Wutai Island is barren except for Wutai.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be interesting to put some more stuff on Wutai Island. So, and then Daniel Vance says you started your preloads, like the downloaded. Mine's already downloaded.
Yeah,
like I
mine's
already,
downloaded. I've jammed on it a couple of times. Like glitch, damn you, glitch.
right. Well, I'm not going to be streaming it. I am going to be recording it, and then I will kind of when some of the hubbub dies, because if I upload this stuff like while everybody's playing it, or even if I try to stream it while everybody's playing it, no one's ever going to see it. You know
It's
what I mean?
lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, it's lost in the I tried that with Horizon Forbidden West. I tried it with oh God, what other game did I do that I just there was other games. I'd have to go back in my library and look, but there was a couple new games that I tried to play to kind of garner some like eyeballs on my channel, and like those are the worst performing videos on my channel. Like are the modern ones that I tried to play right. Oh, Marvel's Avengers, tried to play that right out the gate, didn't garner any like eyeballs. So that's why I'm just like, I don't I don't try to play like something that just comes out, because it'll just get lost, and my channel's too small to to do that. By the way, if any of you are watching this, you need to go and subscribe to MageORage TV. He has I don't have the link in the description yet, but if you go down in the friends and influencers section on the homepage of mine, you will see his beautiful face that says MageORage TV. You go and subscribe to him, because he is a great content creator. He plays Wild Arms. He plays right? You're playing Final Fantasy right now, right? On stream?
We paused the Final Fantasy IX. We made it offline so we have something that's just like relaxing and fun.
Yeah, I get that.
Not have to like be performing, not be on for it. But I've got Star Ocean, the second story
Yes.
R. Finally getting like, I get sidetracked on that one a lot and just like go explore. But
That's
Wild
our-
Arms is almost done. It's part of RPGs. Like Wild Arms, I've had to go and talk to people around the world so many times just like to get those clues. And then it's like, oh yeah, so and so over. It's just that old school feeling of, you remember, like, were you there the night that I found the Gemini circuit on the beach?
I think I was.
Yes, I ran around most of the night not knowing where to get the other Gemini circuit, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like the boxes off the ghost ship.
Yeah, I think I remember you mentioning something like that's the thing. Wild Arms is one that I've added to my playlist. Like I'll eventually get to it. I just gotta A, get a copy of it, and B, and B, just find time to get it. So I haven't decided, like, because I want to do Star Ocean, like the whole, like I'm doing Breath of Fire right now with Breath of Fire 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna be doing 5 next. Um, I definitely want to do like Star Ocean. I want to do 1, 2, 3, like I think there's like 8 of them or 7 of them. I want to do that.
Yeah, it's a big series at this point.
Yeah. So I will do that, but I after Breath of Fire, I'm taking a break from the marathoning of the, so I might do like the one offs like Wild Arms or I don't know what else have I thought about doing. I currently recording Gotham
Oh,
Knights. So
then I won't tell you there's sequels to Wild Arms.
there is, but well, and I'll play the first one, and then if I really get engrossed, I'll maybe try to get the second and third one. Oh yeah, that's right. I did. I was looking at it on the. You told me about it. It was on the play. I have it on my wish list on the PlayStation Store. So if it ever goes on sale, I can pick it up. Sorry, I don't believe in paying full price for something that old. So,
No, no, no.
and honestly, I don't
The
believe
I
in.
don't think the original devs are getting a check for off what we spend.
Yeah, right. Um, but yeah. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about with this? I mean, we're coming up on an hour. We kind of talked about this only being about an hour. So, I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, is there anything else you wanted to touch on? I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I didn't have a chance to write my thoughts down before we did this because I'm a loser.
I'm not as prepared as I should be either. I just thought we would do one of our freeform things, and nothing else is coming off the top of my head. Um,
Yeah.
so do you think they're gonna do it?
Take out Aerith?
Take out Aerith? Yeah,
They will take out somebody. I
it
guarantee
has to be somebody.
it has to be somebody. I would put money down that it has to be somebody. Um, yeah, as I said, my theory, as I said, my theory could be 100% wrong. But I feel like just if they're going to change anything, I think they're going to change who dies based on who you choose, like who you have the most, because it seems like the friendship rapport is like very important in this game. So
How do you move forward with the final installment if each player gets a different result at the end for who lives and who dies, though?
are you talking about for the third part?
For the third part, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, maybe you just got to go through the game. Maybe they'll just make it so that characters are interchangeable. You know, like I'm sure like who's going to be possibly on the date? I think it's supposed to be Barrett, Aerith, Tifa, and Yuffie. I think are the ones that you
Mm-hmm.
can get. So I mean, Yuffie dies. I mean, it sucks because she's a kid, but okay, like I'm not gonna be heartbroken.
Yeah, there's only two there that like
That really
Act
matter.
3 doesn't work. Well, Act 3 doesn't work without Barrett being there. Like he's a big driver of a lot of the events, like the chase to get the giant materia and stuff, the huge materia.
Yeah, but you could
But at the same
probably.
time, Tifa kind of takes
Hmm.
charge of the group at that point
I was about to
when
say
Cloud's gone.
I think Tifa could like subsequent that part. So, Daniel Van says everybody dies. Well, then we're not getting a third game,
Rocks fall, everybody dies. Daniel
right?
Vance, the DM, has spoken.
Man. Nerdiverse says, so how many parts is this going to be broken into? Another 3 games to come? No, 3 games total is what they say. And I feel like that if they're ending at the Forgotten City, I feel like no. I mean, there's the Northern Crater, and then there is some around the world shenanigans after the Northern Crater. The Northern Crater could be like the first like quarter, even 1/3 of the third part. Like, and then after that, it's kind of just open world
Globe
shenanigans. Yeah,
hopping.
globe
Yeah.
hopping.
Huge
revisiting
materia
places.
chase, and your
Back to Midgar.
weapons back to Midgar, fight the weapons.
Yeah, but there's not like the third disc is literally the
Third disc is just the end dungeon.
yeah, the end dungeon. So, I mean, yeah, I really feel like that it's. So I really feel like because I originally thought the Forgotten City, I was like, really that early in the game? Like it's not even halfway. And then I thought about it more, and I'm like, no, actually, wait a minute. I
It's
mean,
deceptive because it's the end of the first disc, but
the first disc
the
is pretty
third
dense.
first disc is very dense, for real. I
Um,
think it just got eaten up by most of the FMVs.
yeah, it really probably did, in the end, yeah, because there were a lot of FMVs at the end. So.
At the very beginning and the very end.
hmm
So in disc three is your dungeon and your ending vids.
Honestly, I feel like disc three though was not full either. I mean, I feel like it was.
No,
I feel it was
it
probably
was probably
mostly.
half full.
Yeah, I just feel like they couldn't fit the rest on a second disc, so they had to do a third disc. Just to get that last bit. And I honestly, if they put a decent amount on the third disc, then they probably didn't fill up the second disc either, technically. So they probably took some stuff off the second disc that they didn't need to, and then put it on the third disc as well. Really quick, Nerdiverse says 10 years till they finish the whole game. No, I would. I mean, the 4 years since Remake came out. Now 4 years for this one, and then I would say another 4 years. So not 10, like another four
They
years. I
said
would say.
they said they're at the same point in development for part three
Yeah,
now as they were in Rebirth when Remake launched.
yeah,
But 12-year dev cycle for, I mean, it's more tight than the current array of Final Fantasy VII products that are out there, dev cycle wise.
yeah. And I mean,
The
Square Enix, I think finally has gotten their footing right where it comes like, I think right now they're doing a good rotation because like they did Kingdom Hearts 3 and then they did what did they do after that? There was something they did after that, and then they did
was it
16.
Near?
I don't know. And then Forspoken, isn't Forspoken a Square Enix product? I'm trying to remember.
I'm not positive about that one. That sounds right.
But like
What
I
do we
feel like
got?
Square Enix has finally gotten into their groove of getting, keeping things in production. Like because if you look back 10 years, it's like there was 13, then there was 14, and then it was like how many years between 13 and like when they were doing 10 and 12 or 10, 11, and 12, like 11 and 12 was in production at the same time. 11 came out like 2 years, maybe a year before 12 came out. And then you got 13, and then there was a huge gap between 12 and or yeah, between 12 and 13, and then there was a huge gap between 13 and 15, and then 14 was in the middle, but that also had huge setbacks, you know.
Yeah.
And then look how many years it's been since 15 and 16. It was like 7 years. So I really feel, but looking at their current release, Ross, like the way they're doing it, I really feel like they're maybe getting their footing again and being like, okay,
Yeah.
like I don't want a game to come out every year. Like I don't want a Final Fantasy game to come out every year. I don't want 17 to come out next year. I don't want 17 to come out the following year. Like make the game good is what I want.
Make the
But
game good. Let it breathe. We don't need another COD or like Madden type series out in the world.
yeah, and
Got too many like those.
well, and remember Assassin's Creed. I mean, they have those coming out every year, and although I enjoyed a lot of them, they still were kind of copy and paste, and then add a couple, new things here and there, but then copy and paste, and here we go. Here's a new Assassin's Creed game. But they did it every year, and it was too much. So that's why I'm like, let it be. Like 4 years is good in my opinion. Like if Final Fantasy 17 comes out in like 4 years, Final Fantasy Repented. Let's call it Repented. Final Fantasy VII Repented is the third piece. Because I don't think I've heard anyone say that one yet. It's probably going to be Reunion. Although Crisis Core was called Reunion. Anyway, but yeah. So I feel like 4 years is a good little breathing spot. Okay, hold on. A couple comments here. Nerdiverse says, I can't wait to see how epic the weapons are. Yeah, true.
Yes. That was one of the best parts of Remake, was just seeing these new renders of all the weapons, because 7 was the first time that you got like real, like you actually see the weapon that they have equipped, and it's different on the battle screen. And a dynamic
No, I
battle
think he
scene
means
is something
the.
I feel is a linchpin.
I think he means.
Oh, he means the weapons.
Weapons.
Weapons. Oh,
The kaiju weapons.
hell yeah! No, that'll be even more epic.
Yeah, Daniel Vance says we need Agent Tim Gamer's opinions on this subject. I think it was his Final Fantasy VII stream I last watched. Okay, he did. Agent Tim Gamer played through the entire remake on our channel. I didn't do it because I had already played it, but he wanted to experience it for the first time, so we went with him. Shadow, hello, welcome to the stream. My biggest gripe with Final Fantasy VII R, which is either remake or rebirth, I'm guessing remake, is the combat. Just add gambits, for fuck's sake. The AI is so dumb, literally could be the best combat system along with FF10, in my opinion. Yes, FF10 combat is perfection. I don't mind 12 with the gambit system. I like 12's gambit system. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great way to customize. Daniel Vance says, wasn't there supposed to be a Final Fantasy live action movie? I hope not. We don't need that. We don't need live action movies. I mean, Advent Children was a good attempt, but if they came up to me and said, "Hey, we're going to make a Final Fantasy IX movie," I'd say no. Like I would say no. I'd say make another game. Is what I would say. Maybe some shorts, maybe like some shorts that you can release online or something like that, like just cute little things of like Vivi and Quina and Freya, and like just revisiting places maybe after the end of the story.
Vignettes.
Yeah, some vignettes, like, but nothing like crazy. Like I don't want like a final, like I think they say there's gonna be a Final Fantasy IX series, which will either be A, based on the actual game, or B, afterwards. I don't want that, really, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't want that. I want a game. Oh, Shadow says both of them, so he means remake and rebirth. So, but yeah. All right. Well, so Mage, I know we said we were going to do this for about an hour, so it's a little over an hour. So we ready to wrap this up?
Sounds good. I don't have anything else meaningful to add.
All right. Well, everybody in the comments, Shadow, Daniel Vance, Nerdiverse, thank you very much for being here and adding, and I know this is also on MageORage's Twitch. So if you guys have not gone over there and followed him on Twitch, also on YouTube, please do. He is at MageORage TV, right? MageORage TV.
Mm-hmm. MageORage TV on both.
On both. So very easy to find. And as I said, in my friends and influencers section on my homepage is where his you can just click on the picture of MageORage, that beautiful bearded. See, this we have the Mirror Universe Mage. Oh, here, he's Mirror Universe Rage. Yeah, Rage. There we go. Rage-o. What would you call yourself? Mage-o-meh or something? Like, what did you call yourself?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Like Mage-o-meh. But yeah, so thank you very much, anyone, for being here. If this is your first time here, leave a like, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming up, or if you've already played it and you're watching this on the rewind weeks down the road, let us know what you think. Tell us how wrong we are. Mage, go ahead, and you want to take anything out for you?
No. We've got, if you're watching here on a Twitch VOD, this is Cousin Cheeto of Milquetoast Gaming. Milquetoast Gaming is down below on my suggested channels you should watch. You can, if I'm not streaming, I'm probably hanging out with him, unless I'm doing like grown up stuff. I'm hanging out with Cheeto. I know, right? But I'm hanging out there because his streams are awesome. We have a lot of fun together. So please check him out.
Your streams are awesome too. So
because when you're there, or Beardy Beers is there, we have fun. Yeah. But you can find both of us on NerdTube. Thursday nights we do the Highly Illogical podcast. They've got fan film reactions over there, sports entertainment stuff, just all sorts of fun nerdy stuff, as well as general topic and political podcast on Friday.
Oh yeah, man.
So NerdTube Twitch is also on the suggested channels here on Twitch.
And also, you not only that, but you have the Golden Glasses award-winning host of the years of 2022 and
22,
2023.
23.
Boom.
Indeed.
Indeed,
Bam.
man. All right, everybody. We'll catch you in the next one. MageORage, take us out, baby.
You've been watching Miltoast Gaming and MageORage TV. Thank you once again for watching. Until next time, take care.
Bye-bye.